everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Raw Talk with Tante Katie. I'm happy as always that you guys are joining me today. I've chose a very interesting location. These are the railroad tracks here in Germany. However, don't you worry, they're not open, so I'm totally safe here. I just thought it was kind of a nice different location, and also got a little bit of coffee with me today. Normally people are used to spilling the tea, but I'm gonna be spilling the coffee, so let's drink some coffee together, guys. I need some coffee. Give me 1 second. Woo! Definitely spilled the coffee on that one, guys. So yeah, guys, I didn't spill the tea. I literally spilled the coffee, but that's all right. That's how it is sometimes in life. Little coffee never hurt anybody. So the reason I'm here today, normally I'm a person in general, I don't find it very necessary for those that always feel like you have to show your face and this and that. That's why I've always respected Sia. Because she's a person, she's like, you know what, I'm an artist, I'm gonna cover my face, and my work is gonna speak for itself. And that's something that I also thought in the beginning. I wanted to wear a mask, actually, because I thought the work should speak for itself, and nowadays, people are so defined by how they are on the outside that who they are on the inside doesn't seem to matter that much anymore. But another thing I do realize is that as humans, we are visual people, and it does help if we can kind of see another person and get a feeling for them, like, all right, I see them and I can maybe identify with them in some kind of way. So I get that as well. I'm like that as well sometimes. Recently I feel like the state of the world and the way humans have been is something that I find to be very unacceptable. And I kind of feel like we all just need to take a little bit of a timeout. You know, when you're watching a football game or a basketball game or a sports game, and the referee is there and blows the whistle and it's like, timeout! Or if they're filming something for stage or theater, they're like, all right guys, let's take 5. You know, and then they'll come and be like, what's going on with you? Why were you behaving like that? And I feel like we're in a time in society right now where we all just need to take 5 minutes. Let's take a breather. Let's kind of evaluate who we are and also what's really important for us in our lives. I feel like a lot of things have kind of gotten a little bit out of control, and I'm speaking everywhere in the world. I'm currently living here in Germany, and in Germany, I've noticed for myself that it's just become, in certain places, very money hungry. And the question that I ask myself is, to what extent are we willing to gain money, power, and control? Like, what is the price that we are all willing to pay? Are you willing to do it at a price of another person? It shouldn't be like that. And I was in an environment not that long ago, and it was one of the first times in my life where I realized that in order for me to fit into that environment, I was expected to step on people's heads to get further, stab people in the back to get further, not be true to myself, not have morals. And it really kind of made me think, maybe we can all find a way to just come together on certain things. No matter your background, no matter your political beliefs, no matter your religious beliefs, no matter how you were raised, can we all genuinely just find a way to come together and to get back to basics? I would really appreciate that. And I do think it's possible. We're living in times right now where it kind of feels like the apocalypse is about to happen. I don't know how you guys feel, but I genuinely feel like, are we living in some apocalypse times? Kind of waiting for the zombies to come out and, have to build myself a bunker. I do not know. But what I do know is that as human beings, we're a lot more capable than what we believe we are. We're a lot more amazing than we think we are. And generally speaking, and I know this definitely to be true, is that humans are so good. Like, you can find strangers everywhere that are so kind, that won't even know you, and they will go out of their way to help you. I know that definitely to be true because I've seen it firsthand myself. There's nothing like some coffee, is there? Cheers. Cheers to the coffee. Woo. If you guys hear trains in the background, don't worry. I'm not on the train tracks. I'm just on old train tracks because I thought it added a little bit of ambiance, you know what I'm saying? So I want to talk with you guys about something today, and it is basically social media. Now, I deleted my social media in, I believe it was 2017, 2018. I had decided that for personal reasons, basically mental health reasons, that social media, and what I mean by social media is Instagram and Facebook, but mainly Instagram, that they were no longer benefiting me. And the reason why I realized that is because I started to feel so much pressure. I started comparing myself to other people, to their pictures, to the lives that they were living. I felt so much pressure to start posting videos no matter where I was. It was like I could be literally going for a walk and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to post this on Instagram. And it would give me so much anxiety. And I remember thinking, like, I don't think this is normal anymore. So I had made that decision in about 2017, 2018. I deleted my Instagram. I deleted my Facebook. And I remember during that time that my mental health definitely increased. And a big part of that is because I didn't have social media anymore. And I believe that social media is literally one of the reasons why, as a society, we are going down. We are going down mentally, emotionally. We don't know what's right, what's wrong anymore. I think back a lot of times. I remember, if I go back to the 90s, right? If I go back to the later 90s, back in those days, you didn't really have much to compare yourself with. You would go to the grocery store, you would see a magazine, and it would be Vogue or Cosmopolitan, or 17 was really popular back then. You'd go to the grocery store and you would see a girl on the magazine. And you'd be like, oh wow, thinking she's pretty or this and that. But there wasn't much to it. You might also go home, turn on the TV. I was watching MTV probably back in the day. I remember going home and, you'd watch MTV. I was probably watching it at an age where shouldn't really be watching MTV. Doesn't matter. Anyhow, those were the kind of things, those were the kind of people that you were comparing yourself to, or that I was comparing myself to. Like, oh wow, that girl is so beautiful, this and that. I wish I had her body. And also there was a thing where they were saying, like, don't worry about looking like the girl in the magazine, because the girl in the magazine doesn't even look like the girl in the magazine. Those were the biggest problems we have. And even back then, we were worried about the magazines and the effects that they were having on us as teenagers or in high school. And they were having some kind of an effect. There's no doubt about it. But I feel like when you compare that to the extent of social media today. I mean, I had gotten my first smartphone when I was 23 years old. And I think I had Instagram when I was like 24. But even when Instagram started out, I remember it was like little pictures of flowers, lavender, this, that, and the third. I don't remember it being what it is now, where you're seeing people with Ferraris and all kinds of stuff. And I just feel like it's gotten completely out of control. I remember I had been waitressing at the time, and I'd gone to the table to take the people's order, and there was a baby there on the smartphone. The baby could not speak, but the baby was playing games on the phone and like winning. And I remember thinking to myself, has this come to? How do we get to this point where technology has taken over? And I understand that there are a lot of parents where they're like, you know what, my kid is misbehaving, they're out of control, and sometimes I just want them to chill out. So I give them the iPad, I give them my phone. You know what, maybe I would do the same as a parent, who knows? But I do know that there will be repercussions to social media down the road. I think of when people started smoking cigarettes. And back in those days, they didn't know how unhealthy they were. They didn't know that they were dying from it. And nowadays, we don't know the effects that this is going to have on us as well. The same thing with cigarettes. We also don't know the radiation to our phones, what that's going to do to us. And my biggest thing with making this podcast today is I just want to help everybody. Like, I want to spread some awareness. Like, hey guys, let's take like a time out a little bit, you know? And I understand if you say, look, you need social media because you want to keep in touch with people. I get it. I'm living in a different country. I also understand that. I understand that you want to see what everybody's doing. I get it, but I do believe we all need to limit it just a little bit. We all need to find a way to kind of say, you know what? Instead of being on social media for 4 hours a day, let's make it to 1 hour a day. We're missing so much of the world around us by only being on our phones. We are missing everything. There is real life happening all around us. There is nature around us. There's beautiful people around us. There's so much happening, but in real life, and we're gonna miss it, guys. And we're gonna miss it if we don't start to really focus on the world around us. Our phones, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Look, it's not reality. Everything is okay in moderation, but it's not moderation anymore. And unfortunately, it is at the point where they're getting smarter and they're finding ways to get everybody addicted with the algorithms. And I'm worried. I'm very worried. I'm very concerned. But I do believe in humanity. I believe in the goodness of humanity. I've seen it firsthand. I've genuinely been a person that has witnessed humanity and the goodness of humanity my whole life, and all walks of my life, from a child to a teenager to a young adult until now. Let's all find the goodness in ourselves, and let's all really try and find a way to just come together and to not put all of our time and energy into the internet. Maybe try and go for a walk an hour a day in nature. Try and check in on other people, see how they're doing. Guys, I'm telling you, the anxiety and depression rates are rising in the youth right now because of social media. And that is a statistic you can look up. It is not something that we want. That is not what we want for the youth. And you know what? I believe in the youth so much as well. I feel like they are so intelligent. They are so in tune with everything that's going on. But we've got to find a way to really just put the phone down and get outside, or we're gonna miss it all. We're gonna miss it all, guys. And let me take you back. Do you guys remember like the 90s? Like genuinely. Like do you remember the 90s? Do you remember getting on your bike, going outside, falling down on your bike, scraping your knee, your parents pour hydrogen peroxide on your cut and it's bubbling and you're like, I don't think this is normal. And they're like, yes, it is. And you're like, this hurts, And it's just like, nowadays I feel like the kids fall and I don't know, man. They're in like sitting in a 5-star king chair. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot these days that makes me question humanity. And when I first moved here to Germany in general, I remember getting bumped by people when I was walking down the street. You get your bump. But it was by the Germans that were quite a bit older and mainly men, right? So it was like whatever, just something I have to get used to. Well, nowadays I'm getting bumped by like these teenagers and I'm thinking, do you guys not have any respect anymore? Or are you just in a different world? Do you guys not know what morals are? Probably like the parents that were talking when we were kids, like back in my day, we didn't do that. But really, it's just so crazy to me. And it's wild. So I want to tell you guys what had happened was I had gone 6 years without having Instagram. And this podcast, I thought to myself, all right, everybody was saying, you should really get an Instagram for the podcast and this, that, and the third. I thought, okay, let me think about it. I ended up getting an Instagram. And let me just tell you, the first time opening Instagram after 6 or 7 years of not having it, the first video that popped up, first video, it was a chocolate ice cream sundae, right? And then I looked at it and it wasn't a chocolate ice cream sundae. It was like puppies. It was like 20 puppies in an ice cream chocolate sundae moving around. And I looked at it and I'm like, what the heck is that? And I was so confused. I was like, was that a chocolate sundae or like, what's going on? Did they make like these little puppies? I did not know. And I wonder how the youth is seeing that as well. I'm an adult being confused, like, what's with these little puppy things, ice cream sundae? How is it going to be for the children growing up seeing all that stuff, thinking that it's real if they don't know any different? Luckily, I could talk myself out of it, and I'm like, all right, that definitely is not a chocolate sundae. That is seems to be puppies, but it's all AI now. And there was another video that came up. It was these babies, and it was like the Kardashians, but as babies, and it showed like a baby Kris Jenner, and I was literally looking at the baby like, is this real or is this not real? I did not know. Finally, I figured out, okay, that was not a coincidence. Like this was AI, and I also saw another video there of LeBron James and Diddy kissing, and it's getting dangerous. It's getting very dangerous. These AI videos are also something where I do worry about. I remember okay, so when we were growing up, as I talked about earlier, we had the magazines. We had looking at a magazine and there's a girl on there. It's a girl, right? But yeah, they kind of did some things to her face, but it was the girl originally. Well, now they're trying to put on the magazines AI women, like just completely made up, taking the best parts of like 30 different women and just putting it into AI. That is not okay, guys. The reason why I don't find that okay is because young women, also young men, they're going to be looking at that as the ideal standards of beauty, and it's not something a person can reach. Yeah, maybe with plastic surgery, but do we really want to have them thinking that it's normal to get all these things done to your body. And honestly, to each your own. If you want to get your lips done, if you want to do that, do it. But there is a limit. There's a limit to that kind of stuff. I don't feel like it should be something that we're teaching the children. I mean, what happened to natural beauty? And I personally feel like some of the most beautiful things that can be found in people are also their flaws. Also, if you look at America's Next Top Model or Germany's Next Top Model, no matter what country it is, they're not looking for beautiful. They're actually kind of looking for people that have some weird things going on. I remember one time they had a girl and her eyes were so far apart. And I remember thinking, okay, all right, huh. But apparently, hey, to each their own. And sometimes our flaws are what makes us beautiful. And let's just stick to who we are anyway. If you have a big forehead, go out there and rock it. If you have big lips, go out and rock it, man. If you have buck teeth, go and rock those buck teeth. Honestly, this might sound wild to you guys, but I find buck teeth really beautiful, genuinely. My whole life, I've always thought the most beautiful girls kind of have buck teeth a little bit. But hey, that's just me. Yeah, so like I was saying, I had gotten the Instagram back and my anxiety skyrocketed. I mean, skyrocketed. I felt pressure again that I needed to be posting. Then I started comparing myself with everybody on there. And I remember thinking, no. And then finally I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And so I stopped it. And I wonder how many other people have had that same issue with social media. If you have had any issues with it, go ahead and comment and let me know if there are any things that did help you guys with that. Did it help you to remove the app for a little while and kind of take a little break from it? Or did it help you to delete the app? Or did you kind of set a timer on your phone where you're like, all right, I just want 2 hours on here instead of being on my phone for 7 hours a day? Let's not forget about doom scrolling, guys. Hey, we've all done it. I've done it too. Doom scrolling, whew, that can take up your whole day. There's the guy that he literally invented the thing on the phone where it doesn't stop at the end. So I remember when Instagram and Facebook first started, you would scroll down and then it would stop at the end. Like that was the end. And you're like, okay, I'm done. Well, there was a guy who invented the doom scroll so that it just kept scrolling, kept scrolling, kept scrolling. There was no end. And in that way, I feel like that also gives people anxiety because it's also like FOMO. I don't want to miss out what's happening, what's going on. But I'm basically making this because I'm concerned. I'm concerned about everybody, and I am a person where I do want to help people in general. And I believe that if we all find a way to just out, take a time out, find a way to spend some time in nature a little bit, drink a glass of water, go to the gym, get back to yourself. Get back to yourself. That's all I can say. Stop comparing yourself to other people and what they have, their lives. Start thinking about your own life. What are you grateful for? What do you have in your life that's special to you, that means something to you? It's a lot. It's a lot. It really is. We all have things to be grateful for, no matter how big, no matter how small. I personally find that the people who've learned to be minimalists genuinely are a little bit more happy. And there's also a whole movement on that, but hey, to each their own, like I said. Yeah, and like I said, I think so much back to my childhood and how different the times were, about how we also learned certain things of respect too. I'm genuinely worried I had been on vacation about a month ago and I was spending time next to the pool, trying to get my suntan in, participating in some of the events that they had going on because they did really funny things like water aerobics, which was making me laugh really hard and just great time. But there had been a kid sitting next to me. He must have been about 6 or 7 years old. He was on his phone the whole time. We're talking 6 hours on his phone. Just watching videos, Instagram. And I remember thinking to myself, this poor kid is missing out. He's missing out on the real world. He's missing out on being more social, maybe making some friends on his vacation. Maybe he should try and get himself out there a little bit. And I felt really bad for him because he's not the only one. This is the generation that's coming up. I I just can't believe it. And we all need to work together to try and find a way to make this a little bit more healthy. Why don't we go back to basics? Go in your kitchen, maybe make yourself a pie. Um Cook something. Try and have a normal social engagement. Go in and grab a coffee with somebody and just talk to them and don't look at your phone. Technology is worrying me. It really is. And I had been deep. I had been deep in technology as well, guys. I had had a point where I had been watching so much Instagram, YouTube, all the little shorts coming up that I genuinely thought I was LeBron James. I was like living his life. I was watching all of his interviews. I was like so involved in his life. And I'm like looking around my apartment. My apartment's dirty. And I'm like, I am not a multimillionaire. And I was worried about him too. I'm like, why am I worried about this person, LeBron James, who's a freaking multimillionaire, and my apartment's dirty? Like, I need to get into my apartment and clean and worry about my own life and stop worrying about other people. I not stop worrying about what they're doing. We can't be stalking people all the time. We got to worry about our own lives. And only in that moment where we start to worry about our own life, start to worry about ourselves, start to focus on our things, can we also be better humans for those around us. Only then. And I hate to quote Michael Jackson, guys, but you really do have to start with the man in the mirror because there's so much noise these days. There's so much going on everywhere you look in the news and social media. But like, if you look outside, it's like everything is peaceful. Like, I'm surrounded by nature right now, and we've got to just take a time out. And, I also want all of you guys to know that let's not give up hope for ourselves. Let's not give up hope for our family members, for our friends, for society. Let's find a way to come together as people, as one. Let's find common ground to where we can not be against each other. And I feel like if we want to learn to not be against each other so much, let's spend less time on our phones. Let's spend more time in community, doing things we love, reading books, going for bike rides, going to the gym, going fishing, going shopping, going to Starbucks. Do the things you love and focus on that, and let's also stop comparing ourselves to other people. I believe in all of you because I also believe in myself, and I believe as us in us as a society. And let's also not forget to have fun. Have a little bit of fun in this life. Enjoy. Do the things that you love the most, and let's not have regrets. I mean, maybe you will, but let's try. Let's forget everything that's happened in the past and try and move forward and learn from our mistakes. And yeah, I love you guys all very much. I hope that this helped you a little bit. Hope that it helped you to kind of maybe feel like you're not alone and to also realize that, hey, maybe I do need to kind of get outside a little bit more. Maybe I need to go to the gym or just do something for yourself, you know? And let me see if I can show you guys my view a little bit. We got the railroad tracks here in Germany, a beautiful sight, if I do say so myself. So, this is what I've got going on. Look, look how beautiful that is. Back in the day, who knows what this was, but I bet they didn't have Instagram back then. Definitely not. They were probably, you know what they were doing? Probably robbing robbing the trains. Did you guys ever see that video where they would put a penny on the railroad tracks back in the day to see when the train was coming, and then that's when they would rob it? And no, I'm not condoning that, and no, I'm not giving you guys any ideas. I'm just saying that was some crazy stuff. Okay, let me see. Oh, I just saw a lizard. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate you guys more than you're ever gonna know. And I would appreciate it if you guys would go ahead and like this, follow me, subscribe, and all that stuff. Thank you for watching. And until next time, bye!